course, streaming doesn't seem like it'd be hard, but it's actually pretty fucking stressful.
You've probably heard the word influencer so many times in the past 5 years, but it's what everyone aspires to be. Whether it's sitting at home and playing video games for a living, or going to exotic places and taking edited photos. As you can see, the term influencer is a very broad term that definitely gets thrown around way too much. But this lavish and perfect influencer lifestyle almost seems too good to be true. Nobody talks about this side of being an influencer, but me being the weird individual I am, I want to take a deeper look into the dark side of being an influencer, and how being an influencer might not be everything you wished for. Social media is addicting, whether you want to believe it or not. The algorithm was made to keep you on their platform the longest. The more content you consume, the more platforms can advertise to you, and the more money the billionaires can put into their bank account. So yes, social media is addicting, but what happens when you make a living from it? It consumes you, literally. When you receive a notification, there's a rush to this thing called dopamine. Dopamine makes you feel good. You gain a sort of pleasure out of growing. This is why, as an influencer, social media consumes you. The more you grow your platform, the better it will make you feel. But the weird thing about us humans is that we are never satisfied. mell-ø talked about this on his podcast.
And I realized that every single streamer will readjust how they feel about how they're doing, like very quickly. So if they're like 10K Andy, like, everyone was at one point, and then they jump to 20K Andy, they'll be like, oh, that's really exciting. It's cool. Novel. And then they will immediately, like within a week, be like, I am a 20K Andy. Anything below that is bad.
If you don't know, which you probably don't, this is a thing called hedonic adaptation. Positive or negative events that happen in your life will increase or decrease your happiness, but eventually, you will always retain a baseline of happiness, which is why being an influencer is so draining, because there is this never-ending cycle of always wanting more. But through all the trials and tribulations, you made it. You now consider yourself an influencer. You should be happy, right? But popularity can take a drastic toll on your mental state. The privacy which you once had is now gone. Being recognized in public or having paparazzi in your corner every time you leave the house can lead to a lot of mental health issues. With cancel culture being so prominent, especially towards influencers, there's this stress that comes with it. You can't truly be yourself, and you can't state your opinion because of the repercussions that might come from doing so. Now you could be like Jay Slat and just not give a, but there are only a select few who have cultivated an audience that wouldn't be affected by this kind of culture. And this is not even including the people who hate you just to hate you. Nobody likes reading negative comments, and in reality, you should just ignore them. But for some reason, the negative ones are always the loudest. These loud comments can lead to a multitude of mental health issues, such as anxiety and self-esteem issues. As you start to grow as an influencer, haters will eventually follow. There is no room for error, literally. You're considered a role model, whether you like it or not, and everything you do will be looked at by impressionable fans, especially if you have a younger audience. Influencers can literally have a direct effect on what people say, do, and how individuals live their life. And don't even get me started on stans or fanatics of certain individuals and the lengths that some supporters will go. When being an influencer is your job, your life starts to revolve around numbers. Views become a sort of social currency. The more likes, viewers, and subs you gain, the more successful you become in the world of an influencer. Having higher numbers also makes you happier. Seeing a 1 out of 10 video just puts a smile on any content creator's face. But this creates a very unhealthy lifestyle. Your happiness and well-being is tied to these online numbers. But what happens when they start to decline, and you're not seeing the success you once saw? In the world of social media, everyone will eventually die off. There are a select few content creators who can keep a sort of relevancy, but a majority of OGs of their respective platforms die off. It's inevitable. So what happens to your happiness when you become the influencer I used to watch? Remember, no influencer wants to feel like they are not growing. All that time, money, and effort that you have contributed to the platform is slowly starting to fade away. But you have to get views, it's what makes you happy. The question is, how far would you go to get those few extra views? And some people will go really far. But what happens when you get sucked into the influencer facade and forget to take a step back into reality? The internet never sleeps, and social media definitely doesn't. On YouTube, more than 500 hours of content are uploaded every minute. On TikTok, more than 1 billion views are produced on the platform every day. Instagram has 500 million active users and Twitter has 200 million. And Facebook, we don't care about. But since social media never sleeps, as an influencer, you can't either. You don't clock in 9 to 5, and you are never truly off work. There is no downtime, and you're always looking for the next shot of dopamine. But eventually, as we all do, you get burned out.
And why the fuck am I so fucking unhappy? It doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I mean? Because, like, this is literally my fucking dream. And I'm fucking so unfucking happy. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so stupid.
Everyone needs a break, but when it comes to being an influencer, taking a break can be extremely detrimental to the success of your platform. That's why so many content creators are scared of taking breaks, because again, the internet never sleeps. As you are taking a break, another person is grinding, and maybe one day, all your viewers will be watching them soon. And it's this scary reality. You are comparing your content to other people's content, but when numbers and statistics is all you know, you start to compare yourself to others. There is no disconnect between what is for content and what is for you. Everything can tell them to stop posting and work on their mental health, but being an influencer is all they know. And if you're depressed, might as well make a video out of it. For the content, right? Yep, for the content.